Testing. Testing. Oh.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. One's mic working?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey guys, everybody, welcome. How's your day going, everybody? Woo! How's it going, brother? I don't know about you guys, but I was at a side event last night, so you're gonna have to bear with me today. It was a good event, Lino, wasn't it? But no, you guys, we're at a very exciting panel for you today. So this one is all about being physical artists and creators to blockchain. We've got some OGs in the house as well, I have to say. And apologies, there has been some slight amendments to the speaker panel because one of the attendees unfortunately couldn't come and join us. That's James. I do have a bio that I'm going to speak about at the end and share a little bit of his thoughts about the panel today. But we're going to jump straight in, guys, because today is a really important one because we're right at the precipice of blockchain helping and scaling Web3 to a point, and what a better discussion than about art within the Web3 space. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to give you a quick intro to some of our panelists today. So first of all, we've got David. What I'll do is I'll actually get you to give a little intro of yourself. Is that right, David?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you. Just telling you I'm old collectioner, maybe old style, but I try to maybe looking at you, young generation, I would like to be the same, probably, part of my life. But whatever I did in my life, many things. I was in General Motors distributor. I was a producer of different juices, water, milk products. I produced breweries and, as well. And now we are doing sustainable business. We are recycling PET bottles and producing packaging. We are producing fertilizers in shape of bacteria to substitute agricultural, it's all these chemicals and minerals, and as well additives to reduce emissions into atmosphere, and making collections, and that's what we'd like to have in Metaverse, museum in Monaco, live and in a space. So it might be interesting, to look at what you are doing and to learn and maybe do something interesting as well on our part.
Thank you. Let's get a little round of applause for the speakers as they come in, guys. And Shina, we're jumping straight into you. I want to jump in. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, who you're working with at the moment.
Right, thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Shina from Art Trade. I'm a designer and artist, and what I'm really passionate about is to bring optimal and unique experiences for artists and creators and collectors. Because I think the biggest issue that a lot of the traditional art industry and scene is facing right now, perhaps is the experience of purchasing, collecting, owning a piece of artwork, regardless of the medium. Is it NFT, is it a token, or is it a physical piece? So Art Trade is really here trying to solve this problem from the very beginning. And we just migrated to Solana, so we're super excited to see what we can do on Solana. Thank you very much.
Guys. Love that. Thanks for sharing, Shina. So I really want to say this, guys. Come and find us afterwards. The reason I've taken my jacket off is it's 100 degrees in here, but last year I actually wore this jacket to the same event, and these are all signatures of OGs. So all of these guys are going to be signing it. On all of you, the reason this seat is on the end here, it's actually for one of you to join the conversation. That's what these are really about, is making an open discourse for everyone to come and share their thoughts. And of course, we're all going to agree to disagree anyway, but the main thing is that we can have an open discussion about these things. So jumping straight into you, Pedro, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, super excited to be here in Lisbon. My name is Pedro Miranda. I lead the creator economy team here at the Solana Foundation. We're really excited to have Art Trade be building on Solana. They actually just released a tokenized Picasso work exclusively on Solana, so that's extremely exciting. Primarily working on creator monetization, Web3 social, and creator innovative tooling. Previously was at Metaplex, NFT infrastructure standard on Solana. Started my Web3 journey at Consensus on the payment infrastructure side, actually. Quick plug, 40 minutes ago, PayPal just announced that they're releasing stablecoin on Solana utilizing a new tech primitive of ours. Not related to art, but just cool, exciting news that I'm excited about. And we could talk about that later.
Cheers. We definitely will. And Jen, if you could jump in now.
No worries. So I learned about this talk like 15 minutes ago, so allow me to be a bit embarrassed and awkward. My name is Jean. I'm an artist. I'm French, hence the outrageous accent. I've been an artist for decades, and I've gone through street art, illustration, painting, drawing, etc. And my work was growing increasingly digital, and it was really hard to do anything digital in the art space. You would always need like a physical incarnation or excuse, as I would call them. And then I found about NFTs in 2020. I was like, this is exactly what I've been looking for my whole life. So since then, I just jumped down the rabbit hole and never came out of it. And it's been a great last 4 years, roughly. And so I also I do art, obviously. And I do also a lot of art direction, little side projects and everything. So yeah, that's about it. Cheers.
Amazing, John. Thank you for sharing. And just a round of applause for all the speakers, guys. I definitely heard what you said there when you said rabbit hole. I think this space is a big rabbit hole that we're all down, and we found each other there, obviously. But look, guys, the reason you've all got one of these on your seats is that this is an open, like as mentioned, we're going to have people voting on whether the questions that I'm about to ask you, which is question 1 is coming right up. And if you agree, you're going to put it up as green, and if you disagree, you're going to put it up as red. And we're going to go through the panelists, and everyone's going to have their thoughts. And then the final thought will be from someone from the crowd. So I'll be inviting one of you up to join us. So you can get your team to take some photos of you guys for your social media. I'm sure everyone wants that. So let's jump straight into it, guys. So does blockchain technology address the issues of authenticity and provenance in the physical art world? Now, that's a big one. So what are your thoughts on that? Who wants to jump in first?
Can you repeat, please?
Of course.
Just with the reverb.
So sorry, but my Scottish accent probably, yeah? Does blockchain technology address the issues of authenticity and provenance in the physical art world?
It can. It depends. Easy answer. Yes, with like NFC chips, it's becoming easier, but you can always think it can be hacked or copied in a way. I was interested into it, so I haven't looked yet how you can actually make a real duplicate that is enough to, go through barriers. So I think it's going to be reliable at some point, but maybe not 100% today. But there's also maybe not so many people who would actually go the extra mile and try to make a fake. So right now it should be enough, I would say. And it's also never just the NFC chip. It's also the whole network of people who have been in contact with the work, have stored it, shipped it, all that. It's part of the work. So I think it's still easy to today, if you make an artwork today and if it's a physical with an NFC chip, to have also, besides the NFC chip, also the human connections and the human history of exchanges that can attest that it's the good one, the provenance is clean, and everything is good. So, yeah.
Thanks for your take there, John. And what are your thoughts? Shina, you want to jump in?
Right. Yeah, I just want to add on or just continue from here that I feel like you are describing exactly what our trade has been building. So we are the physical marketplace, physical art marketplace, where we are making use of the NFC chip. Whenever there is a purchase of artwork on our platform, we send the artist an NFC chip so they can put it on the artwork. And then during the delivery, we lock the fund that is transferred by the collector on Solana, and the fund will only be unlocked when the collector validated through the NFC chip that they received the artwork. So I think this is an amazing way to really track the delivery of artwork in a very trustless manner through on-chain process. And I would like to add on that there are a lot of projects that is very much into developing passports for artworks for luxury goods. And I was just listening to a panel yesterday with Seam, a fashion luxury brand, that they are developing their own platform for the passport for their products. And I think these two features together with the passport and with our NFC innovations, we can bring provenance and we can bring authenticity more clear and more transparent to the art economy.
Yeah, to add on, blockchain technology alone, no. Right? On the authentication side, absolutely not. I think that was like 2018 to 2021. We saw people slap everything on chain and say that's good enough. But I think right now, seeing platforms such as Seam and ArtTrade and other artists experimenting, they're complementing blockchain with, bot-proof QR codes, for example, other IoT tech, NFC chips. There's a really interesting project on Solana called Baxis, which tokenizes whiskey, which actually utilizes sensors to actually maintain and prove every single block second that the whiskey is there and hasn't been tampered with. And we're seeing experiments with that, like on the art side as well, where you can actually prove physically where a piece of art is. So I think when you complement the blockchain with all these other technologies that have been battle tested for decades, then yes, it can solve the authentication issue.
100%. And you're speaking to me here. I'm Scottish, you know that. Whiskey is right up my street. So, and David, what are your thoughts on that?
Just wanted to say that, collection I started, and that time it was not such a movement like it is now. And I started with the first small museum in Stockholm with musical boxes, pianos, royal pianos, organs, street organs, and singing birds, and so on and so on. And now it is so important to put it maybe that's in a space that more people will see and will listen it, because it's that's collection of musics and sounds, and it can bring so much interest in this for young generation, because people will listen. Musics have been created 120 years ago, and we have thousands of different plates with old plates, that's shellac plates. It's not vinyl plates, it's shellac plates with musics and songs, and voices of people have been disappeared long time ago. But this is really legacy for all of us.
Thank you, guys. And so this comes to the part where we're going to invite one of you. So can we get maybe anyone in the room would like to come up and answer the question about blockchain changing the future for art and authenticity? Does anyone like Mo? I'm looking at you over here, bro. You just came off another panel. Mr. Mo, you want to come up and say hello? Let's do it. Everyone, an applause for Mr. Mo, guys. I'll repeat the question for you because I think you came in a little bit late. So, does blockchain technology address the issues of authenticity and provenance in the art world, in the physical art world, coming into the online art world?
Yeah, I think we just see, for example, the new regulations of DPP, how important verification is, and I think there's no better place than blockchain. It's traceable, it's transparent. Oh, it's pretty loud, this one. Yeah. The last one was like, so this is why I think blockchain is going to be adopted for sure. It's going to be like the phenomenon with Web 2. So we're going to use a technology, and people are going to use the technology, and they don't even know what is behind it. And I think this is also something what is like super important to onboard the masses, is that people just have like a good UX, that we solve a problem. And I think there's nothing in the way of mass adoption, and art is an amazing example, because suddenly you have the possibility to really trace. You can verify that it's real. You can have a digital twin. I mean, there are like so many different kind of opportunities that you have with this kind of technology. If this answered your questions, I'm not sure.
Absolutely, answer my question. And I want to get a round of applause for Mr. Mo. Do you want to introduce yourself to the room while you're here?
Real quick. I'm owning an agency since 2 years, so I'm full time in Web3. I came from management, 10 years, Mercedes and Vodafone. I'm working with brands, or I'm helping brands to navigate in Web3. Working with OTB, the owner of Diesel, Meso Magella, Jill Sander. Help basically brands to navigate in Web3, and also founded Only Ever Club. It's onlyever.club. So it's a design house since 35 years. They are the fastest in prototyping shoes. They work with Versace, and Kanye West were there, but it's not allowed to talk about it. We also have a beautiful clubhouse for artists. So basically we help artists and designers who doesn't have the facilities to come to us, and we help them basically create a product, also in co-creation with the community. So we really open up the design process using blockchain technology.
Love it. Thank you, Mo. Thanks again. And thanks for the little
Thanks
shill
for
at the
having
end
me.
there. I love it, Round of applause, guys. Okay, let's move through these questions, guys, because we're not going to get through all 10 of them, but we will try our very best. So we're coming into tokenization, guys. So can tokenization of physical artwork in its form it is now change the future for art ownership and investment? What are your thoughts about tokenization and the future that it's going to have in the art world?
Maybe I can go first.
Yeah, I would love to jump
Yeah,
in.
because this is what we're doing. We're tokenizing, fractionalizing Picassos into dozens of pieces as tokens, so people can trade Picasso on Solana DEX, right? And I think there's a very huge need of doing so because traditional art market is known to be exclusive and highly inaccessible to a lot of us, the masses. You and me, we don't have the capital to buy a 200K Picasso. Definitely would not have the time, or even I don't feel comfortable going to the auction houses. It's just very time consuming. But I still want to participate in having and sharing and owning a piece of artwork. So if I am a very traditional art passionate person, so like I really like Monet, I really like what Van Gogh is doing. Can I own a piece of it? And also we do see, if you guys know Masterworks platform, they basically are doing the same thing, right? They are cutting the pieces as shares, and then you buy a share of the Picasso, the Van Gogh, or the Basquiat. So that is really allowing retail collectors and retail investors with financial intention to participate in the art market. But what I find super interesting is now it is possible, and we are already doing it. So it's a fact. We do see that the profit of Masterworks is 10-fold, 20-fold. But then can we do something more fun? Can we invest it as a form of culture and in a form of supporting art industry in general, rather than just seeing it as a financial mean and something that you can collect for capital? That, I think, is what our trade is very excited and curious about. So this is our stand. It works, yes, and we can go further.
Yeah, it's just the start, really, when it comes to fractionalized ownership. I really think there's a big future there. And what are your guys' thoughts? Do you want to jump in there, Pedro?
Yeah, I think just to share an anecdote of that, Solana, so the Solana Foundation, we sponsored Art Basel in Miami last year, and we hosted an artist in residence and living studio where 3 artists actually created live pieces at the Basel show for the first time in the show's history. At the end of the show, they actually tokenized their pieces and listed them on Solana one-of-one art marketplaces, and actually had collectors who weren't able to go to Basel either for financial means or they didn't have the access to those traditional social circles. Most of whom purchased the pieces directly on the website, direct to consumer, and essentially received their physical pieces weeks later, right? So I think it's not only the easy financial and product UI and UX, but it's also accessing into social circles that were traditionally unavailable to folks, right? For a lot of people, going to Basel, the show is very daunting and overwhelming, but essentially making it open and democratizing that show in particular is an extremely interesting piece of tokenization.
The cloud collector community. You don't have to be in real life, but you belong to a cloud of community that collects and share art together. I think that's an amazing statement. And I second that. And I'm very curious about artists and yourself as a traditional collector, your view on how would that revolutionize the art collector scene.
That's for me from the beginning when I heard about NFT, it was immediately some kind of picture that many people they cannot achieve, probably, or they cannot buy very important canvases, very important artworks, but when it will be fragmentized, so in this case it gives them opportunity to be a part of it, to be a part of big art, to be a part of the legacy. And this is important, and whatever we are trying to do, probably we're going to do as well this, and fragmentize it, and to bring people closer to that, that small number of pieces which are so rare, and they have been, delivered to us from centuries after wars and after disasters and after earthquakes and everything, whatever happened during this last at least 300, 400 years.
Thank you, David. And do you want to jump in there, Jean, at the end?
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about fractionalization because it's not that important for living artists right now. So it's kind of an off topic, but it can be interesting. But it's more for living artists. It would be more about speculation right now. So it's less interesting. Like for example, you can fractionalize an X copy because it has monetary value, but I don't see any more like use cases. Like for dead artists, from history, yes, it can be a way to fundraise for like charity and museums and all that, and it works well. But to me, when it's not the ownership of the artist first in the provenance, it's less interesting. So as an artist, I just see it as basically the future, but more like not in an exciting, innovating way. More that I'm just sure that every physical piece of art is going to have a way to be traceable online somehow, and so blockchain is obviously a very good contender for that. And yeah, so to me, it's just the future standard. Like you're going to know who has it, since when, and when does it go out. It could be a good system also to track royalties for artists. Like if your piece has been around the world and you don't know about it, you can ask yourself questions. And so for that, it's cool, yeah.
Thank you, Jean. And I'm not going to get someone on stage for this one, guys, because we do need to get through these questions. But what I would like to do is just put a little poll out. So who in the room is currently an artist or is operating as an artist in Web3? There we go. We got one person. So this question is really important for you, and maybe you'd like to join us, Tyler, on stage and take part of this next question, because this question really is about fair compensation for artists and for creators. Do you think that blockchain is setting up a foundation for artists and creators to get paid fairly in the space, more so than, say, in the physical world? What are your thoughts on that, Pedro?
Yeah, our team actually tracks creator monetization earnings on Solana versus crypto in general versus Web 2. And I think there are two key main findings when comparing crypto versus Web 2. One is in Web 2, there's obviously a power law, unequal distribution of creator monetization, right? Like, don't have to bore you, it's 10% of the artists making 95% of the profits. In Web 3, fortunately or unfortunately, that uneven distribution still exists today. I think mainly because there's a limited amount of attention and everything occurs on crypto Twitter, right? As an artist, you have to be loud on Twitter to actually get noticed and monetize. But the really interesting difference between Web 2 and Web 3 that I'm really excited about is the tail end distribution of earnings is significantly higher in Web 3 than in Web 2. Yeah. What does that mean? The average artist in Web 2 makes, $10 to $100 a month, statistically. In Web 3, it's actually closer to $1,000 a month, right? Which may not be significant, but when you look at the on-chain economy and how that is scaling, that 90% increase in earnings is actually pretty significant in terms of people are actually getting paid for the work that they're doing, whereas in Web 2, it's pretty extractive, and the revenues are coming from advertising and from other algorithms, whereas in Web 3, the superfan thesis can play out no matter how big of an artist you are, no matter how big your audience truly is. I'm not going to artist-splain when I have an artist right here, but I'm super curious to hear your thoughts.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Like it's not perfect, but it's way better than what you have like outside of it. And what I especially like is that the whole scene is very geography agnostic. And when you're a traditional artist, it's if you're not born and not living in Paris, New York, or this kind of city, it's going to be very hard for you to make a breakthrough or to get anywhere. And if you don't like living in these big cities, it's going to be another big problem too. So NFTs, you can travel sometimes, but you don't have to. And that also makes it accessible to third world countries. And I'm also like a small collector. And I don't know, like one day I bought a piece from a guy in Thailand, like great piece. And he was like, okay, you just allowed me to provide for my family for 6 months. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And so this kind of openness is really great. And for the future of thing, and especially about Solana and Tezos, the way that you cannot escape royalties. Well, you can still do OTC deals, that's a given, but most of the people, they just respect royalties. I think it's one of the most interesting innovations that has been in NFTs. And it was a bit sad to see people on Ethereum like wanting to like just throw it away as a hindrance when it's actually a good thing for artists, for collectors too, because everyone takes more care of it, like about the art, its value, and what it means to not own it anymore. If there is a little royalty, a little break, friction, like people are always like, oh, no frictions, please. But sometimes friction creates depth because it creates slowness, and it's very important for art. If art is always in a fast-paced environment like Twitter or OpenSea or this kind of environment, you don't look at the art. You look at statistics, you look at floor prices, you look at all these metrics, but you don't look at the art. So you need depth, and for that you need slowness. And so a little friction is good, and royalties are good for that. Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Do you want to jump in, Shina? I know you're itching to go there.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this topic. When it comes to royalty, tokenization, and fractionalization, our trade is very much trying to find a interlink between these. What we are doing with the Picasso is we are not minting it as an NFT. We're minting it as a token, a fungible token that can be traded on Solana, on secondary market. And what's cool about that is then think, if you are an artist and you have a piece of artwork, and instead of minting it as a one-to-one NFT, can you try to mint it as your art coin? And the upside is, there's no upside, right? I mean, there is no ceiling to it. And for the degens, for the crypto people, the speculation is fun. For the artists, you are building your community based on your artwork. So I think what's different from the traditional collecting scene and the crypto collecting scene is crypto is very community focused, and collectors are crowdfunding projects. Collectors are crowdfunding initiative and ideas and statements, and we see meme coin being crowdfunded as a statement. People are having fun, they're buying for the culture. And I see the same in art, right? Yes, we have the technical complication of art. You want to paint well, you want to draw well, you want to have excellent realistic painting. You also have the other kind of art, the Andy Warhol and the Picasso strokes, the drawings of strokes that look ridiculous, but why are they costing so much? They are making a statement. And honestly, the reason why Picasso can be so expensive with a ridiculous amount of money at the same time, you don't see a lot of technicality behind it, because he was in Paris, and Paris at that point of time was just bustling with a rich art industry, with all the young people who just want to get into the investment in art and just trying something new. And Picasso was just right there at the right time. And then now blockchain at the same time, DJ want to try something new, or people on the chain want to try something new. You can mint a token, why not mint a art token? If you want to invest in meme coin, why not invest in your own art coin where that becomes your royalty? So I think that's a concept. It's super interesting, and we'll see how the Pablo token that we are releasing right now will turn out. Like, we do a pre-sale for Pablo token, it's 200K, 1-to-1. So now we're like 20% or 25% sold out. It's cool, like people's buying for the culture. And I love that. Like, we don't have to be too serious about art collection. It can really be something that's community driven and fun.
I think it's incredible what ArtTrade are doing. So find Shina after, guys, speak to her, get to know about the project. And Pedro, I know you want to jump in. Before you jump in, we're welcoming our new speaker to the stage. So Tyler, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? Round of applause for Tyler, guys.
Yes, thank you everybody so much. Thank you for allowing me to join. I am an artist, and I started a nonprofit. I also have been into blockchain since 2011. So yeah, I created a project called myeasyverse.com to try to help people in unbanked and unidentified countries participate in blockchain. Because way back when, I went to places that did not have much identification or much banking, and the services were not sufficient to onboard enough people. And so the only thing I wanted to add to this is that in addition to the way that we fund art is maybe there's something also with identity, or identifying the artist, and then that will help them get a reputation, and then that could lead to getting them more services and things like this. So maybe there's an identity portion to the helping the artist.
I love that, Tyler. Thanks for sharing. And just to let you guys know, this is Tyler. I call him Tyler the Shilla. And you didn't shill that much, man. I thought you were going to shill a lot more. What was the
myeasyverse.com?
myeasyverse.com, was it? Yeah. So check it out. Honestly, come speak to us, Tyler, again. And a big round of applause for Tyler for joining the conversation, guys. And Pedro and David, I know you guys have got something to say on this. So what are your thoughts? Who wants to jump in next?
I just wanted to say that having into consideration that a lot of works, old works, traditional works, they have a lot of fakes. And this NFT gives opportunity to keep authenticity of the items. It's so important, because the world is full and full of processes of authentication, and this is very important to having into consideration. This is a big step forward.
Thank you. And Pedro, do you want me to jump into the next question, or you got something? All right, let's get through this, guys. So we got another question. This one's a really quite important one because I think there is barriers to bringing physical artwork online onto the public space. But I just wanted to go through some of them. So first question is, of course, is a yes. Are there legal and regulatory challenges that artists and collectors face when bringing physical art on chain? But more specifically, what are these challenges that they're facing and how can they be overcome? Shina, do you want to maybe tell us how you do it at Art Trade?
Well, that's a very complex question.
Yeah.
I think the legal part has been the hardest for us to try to sort out because honestly, not a lot of, or maybe there's really no clear legal process right now about bringing assets and art on chain that is consistent. Different regions and different countries are doing their own thing. And here at Art Trade, I'm not a legal and very technical person. I can't really answer this question in a comprehensive manner. But what we are really trying to figure out is let's experiment, right? We have been talking with Solana's tokenization services projects like Bridgesplit on how we can bring art asset on chain. I think we're trying to really figure out, and that's when being a part of the ecosystem is so important, a blockchain layer 1 ecosystem, that we can really leverage on the different partners and collaborators that we can have. And just they're super friendly and super helpful. They're doing this and exploring with us, having calls with us for free just because we want to do the same thing. So if anyone's really interested in the legal side, come to our booth. I think our technical friends and members can share more. But what we can say is we want to work Solana to sort this out.
Yeah, I think to add on, the first question when I met with the Art Trade team was, how the heck are you doing this, right? On the regulatory side, where is the metadata being stored and whatnot? And I think the thesis of developing the Solana blockchain is a product first principles approach, essentially saying, hey, we'll provide the technical primitives and the product primitives to make it really easy for artists to create, for Art Trade to build a successful business. And one of those primitives is called token extensions. So token extensions allows you to actually have a permissioned token on a permissionless network. Going back to that PayPal shell that I announced. So PayPal is actually building their stablecoin on Solana utilizing token extensions. What that effectively means is that you can bake any regulations, any rule sets, any configurations natively onto an asset. So for an artist, that means is you can essentially say, hey, my NFT can only be transferred if it actually meets certain liquidity requirements, if there's X amount of holders, conditional rules. For Art Trade or for traditional galleries that we've been talking to, it's, hey, this asset can only be transferred if it's to a KYC'd AML passed entity, right? Because I think we were having a ton of interest from the traditional world, especially on the galleries and the collector side. So we're building products to actually make it really easy for people to build the products that they have been successful in Web 2 into Web 3. It's token extensions. Come find me afterwards if anyone wants to talk about it.
And John, what are your thoughts from the artist point of view?
So yeah, it's correlated to is NFT art considered as art in your country? It's the biggest question. So if you're talking about tokenized physical art, I think it should be easy to convince the government and your tax office that it's actually an artwork because you have a physical painting or something and there's no doubt about it. But the fact is that in my country, in France, It's for now they don't want to accept that NFT pieces of art are pieces of art, and it's bullshit because the arguments are really bad, and so right now I'm kind of an outlaw. Like I pay my taxes, but I declare it as art sales, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to do it, but there's no one saying no, and I'm just left in the dark. Maybe I'll go to jail. I don't know. Even if I'm trying to do everything by the book, and this is the biggest thing that most people fear because they start to look into blockchains and they're like, okay, I want to do art, but then what's the price of the currency? How am I going to declare my taxes and all that? And because it's like almost made to make you afraid of it, sorry for my words, but it takes some balls to actually make a living out of it and own it. So yeah, that's the main problem. And I'm pretty sure the future is going to be art is art, and NFT that is easy to declare as an artwork is going to be considered as such. But until we get there, it's going to be rocky, and it's not very comfortable as a position, like on the daily life. But you know, that's life.
Thanks, Sean. And David, do you have any comments on that, or should I jump? Hopefully, we've got time for one more question. We got about 5 minutes left. Perfect. We've got 5 minutes left, guys. Let's jump into the last question. So, what I really want to finish this discussion about is actually finding a way for the Web3 world and blockchain technology to support physical art world, which is really what it's all about, and them growing together. So the final question is kind of bringing that into account. So is it possible at this stage for art communities and the Web3 communities to collaborate and foster that mutual growth and actually support each other as opposed to take away from one another? And if so, like how does that look for you guys, and how does that look for our trade as an example?
So we want to support physical traditional artists, and that's why we are trying to tokenize physical art, and we want to make physical art marketplace a vibrant space for people to share their paintings, things that is tangible, even a digital combination of art, physical art and digital version of the art. And we also have been collaborating with awesome teams and projects that really want to bring spotlight to the current artists that is figuring their way out into the crypto space. For example, we have weekly AMAs with the Pulsar team. I'm not sure if the Pulsar team is here. I think, yeah, they were here just now. So they are an AI-driven search engine for NFT artists, and they really also want to bring physical artists onto their platform. So what we do is for the entire month, we have this acquisition program. We ask artists from our trades to bring your work to us. We talk about your work, and by the end of the day, we want to acquire some of the pieces. So we pull 4K together, and hopefully at the end of this month, we will buy some of the pieces that's on our trade, and they are physical pieces. So we really want to encourage this synergy between blockchain and the art world. Yes.
I love that. And supporting the creators is really the first place to do that and really establish those roots. And Pedro or David, do you want to jump in there? What are your thoughts on that?
I just want to say that because these, two directions, they will give opportunity to take care of whatever it is, whatever legacy we have, because there are a lot of collectioners who have it in just at home somewhere, and somehow nobody sees. And when you have it, and in cooperation with NFT, in cooperation with fragmentation, in cooperation with this, you can show it, you can take care of this, because you can build museums, and these museums will take care of itself, with this technology. Technology gives big opportunities to take care of this, and not thinking about that somebody somehow after will be in charge of it,
Thanks, David. And Pedro and John, do you guys have some final comments?
Yeah, I think it has to be artist and culture-led. When you look at the history of technology, or choose your pick, whether it be AI or even going back to Andy Warhol when he transitioned from scarcity to mass distribution of his artwork, and everyone was saying you're crazy, you're going to dilute your work, but then it just actually led him to mass distribute his works and appreciate and value even more. We really have the approach of looking at the culture, looking at the artists and the creators, and what are the primitives that need to be built. We actually tried to build an RWA art standard 2 years ago, but no one wanted it, right? I think now this time it's different. But for example, when we have technological primitives that have demands, then ultimately that's what the artists want, and that's where you build towards, essentially.
Can I have a custom question? Like, I'm not really sure how to answer this one because I feel it's less about if you're a digital artist, or at least partly, you're going to do things yourself. And I always ask myself a bit, I'm sorry if that goes a bit around what you guys are doing, but like physical artists who have very little agency and interest in the blockchain and in the technology, usually they're going to be pampered by a team to maybe create a wallet, maybe not even do that and let the team do it, and they end up with this physical that has a digital existence on the blockchain. It gets sold, and usually that's it. This artist never finds about the blockchains again. He doesn't know what a blockchain is, doesn't know what a wallet is. There's no agency, there's no interest. And I find it a bit superficial and not very interesting. Like, even as a small-time collector, I'm really not interested into that. Like, if it's like a physical artist that has been demonstrating interest and wants to actually explore digital media and blockchains and all that on the long term, yeah, it makes sense. And if I see they do it themselves, it's cool. But if it's always relying on other people, whether it's galleries or project managers and all that, and just like, oh yeah, that's cool, someone minted something from me and I will say it's official, I think it's not very interesting, and it's not worth pushing the onboarding of that. So I hope people onboarding are trying to say, this is a new medium. Even like you could do something different with your painting. It can be just like an NFC of your painting, but at least try to get the culture and to exchange and, you know, see what the community is like and all that, and maybe not just let other people do your job, or I don't know.
Thank you, Jean, for your take there. You've got some final thoughts. We've just come to the end, guys, so we're perfectly on time. You have some final thoughts, David, you'd like to share?
I just wanted to say just thank you for coming, and this is important, that just wanted small advertising that we made Wonder Room, and Wonder Room is just to save legacy. This is important, and please join us, and you can see it on our site, Wonder Room site. Please, thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers, David, Shina, we've got Jean, and we've got Pedro. Honestly, guys, just like David said, that's what these events are about. They're making connections, seeing what we're all working on, so come and find us. I also want to give a big shout out to the organizers, everyone behind the scenes. You've got Nicole over there, you've got their teams, you've got the speaker managers, all the sound guys. You guys are killing it, so big thanks to all them. Cheers, guys. Let's fucking go, yeah?
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can we take a picture together?
Yeah, let's take a